spouses feel like they have to be the caregiver 24/7. They feel like that's part of, their vows that they took. And what I try to explain to the spouse caregiver is, you have an obligation to make sure your spouse has care. That does not mean you have to be the caregiver 24/7, because what happens often is it's very stressful, physically, mentally, to be on duty 24/7. And so we often see when people are trying to do that, they will have some kind of health event, and then they're not able to provide that care.
Welcome to the Carolina Senior Talk Podcast, your trusted source for all things related to senior living in the Carolinas. In each episode, we'll guide you through the best locations, offer advice on buying a home, and share tips on relocating within this beautiful region. Whether you're exploring new senior communities, considering a move, or looking to invest in your current dream home, we've got you covered. So sit back, relax, and get ready to discover everything you need to know about senior living in the Carolinas. Well, hello there, listeners. Welcome to another podcast of Carolina Senior Talk, found on carolinaseniortalk.com, oddly enough, where we talk about all things senior. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that all of us have to deal with at some time or another, and that is healthcare. And like all things that come along gradually, these things typically start at home. And so we're going to talk more specifically about home care. And what are the issues that interplay with these? Well, it's about a person who needs the care. We all want to retain our independence. It's about personalizing the care. Not all patients, not all people who need care have the same issues. And so you have to personalize whatever it is you do. It's about safety and comfort. We want to remain in our homes as long as possible. Is it safe to walk into the shower? And is it comfortable in terms of sleeping arrangements? It's about the emotional and mental well-being of the person who's receiving the care. There's also a practical side, which is cost. There are costs associated with everything out there, but there's a different level of cost associated with nursing homes or assisted living versus home care. And last but not least, it's about support for the people within the circle of friends and family who are providing the care for that person. All of these intermingle and need to be thought through. And so toward that end, we have a guest today, Connie Mann with Dudley's Home Care. Connie, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you, Dave.
So Connie's been doing this for some time, and so she has some really useful information to share with you. And so in a nutshell, Connie, tell us what Dudley's Home Care is all about.
Well, first of all, Dave, we are very proud of being the longest serving home care company in Iredell County. We were the very first. We've been in business 33 years. We are not a franchise. We're family owned and operated. Our owner, Londa Dudley, is a nurse, and we have another nurse on staff. And we basically, our core philosophy is treating people and caring for people the way we would want to be cared for or want our family members to be cared for. So it's very personal for us. And I think as I get older, it becomes more personal to me because you start thinking more about what kind of care you would want, where you would want to receive that care. And so it's a very personal thing.
Well, speaking of personal, tell us a little bit more about yourself. Where are you from and where do you live?
I am from Elon, North Carolina, and have lived multiple places, moving around with my husband's job. Right now we are in Denver, North Carolina, and I'm all over the place though, because Dudley's provides home care within 90-mile radius of Morrisville. And in addition to marketing, I also do the care consults. So wherever I am, if I get a call that a family is needing to meet with me to get care set up, I immediately stop what I'm doing and go to that family. That takes priority. I've been doing this a long time. I started out in adult protective services as an investigator. Mm-hmm. That was back in 1996. So it's been a long career. And I've also worked for other home care companies as care manager and in marketing. And then I also worked at the Pines at Davidson, working in healthcare, handling admissions. So really, my whole career has been focused on caring for seniors.
When you are not caring for seniors, Connie, what do you like to do for fun?
I love live music.
Very good.
I loved being on the water.
Mm-hmm.
Put me in a boat, I'm happy. I think I became more casual after COVID. So we got used to having people over outside and not driving into Charlotte for, a fancy restaurant. And so doing things at home with friends and family. I now have 2 grandbabies. I've got a 2-year-old and an 8-month-old that live in Texas. So I love going to see them. I try to go see them like every 2 months. So that keeps me busy.
So you get to go from Denver to Dallas, but not Dallas, North Carolina, Dallas, Texas.
Actually, Austin, Texas. Yeah.
Oh, Austin. Okay, very good.
Yeah.
We're just in Austin. I love that town.
Yeah.
Pretty cool area. Very good barbecue down there too. So, all right,
you have to wait a long time in line for their barbecue, for the good barbecue.
Yes. All right. So this is the moment where I get mean and I throw the gauntlet down. I'm so sorry. Don't mean to surprise you with that, but this is about demonstrating your knowledge of and your worth to those that might be listening. The boomers out there, right? So toward that end, we have some trivia for you. You're going to have to pass fail on this. So, I hate to.
You're asking me boomer questions because that's a way of saying you're old. So you should know the answers.
Hey now. I know where the button is on this Zoom call. I can.
Okay.
All right. So you have some categories to pick from. You pick the categories. I pick the questions.
Uh-oh.
All right. So you've got pop culture. You've got television. You've got music, movies, cars, news, and sports. What say you?
I'm going to go with pop culture.
All right. You just set yourself up. I'm telling you, I'm going to really be rough on you. All right. We're going to find a tough one. Here's a tough one. California salesman Gary Dahl, D-A-H-L, Dahl, invented which fad in 1975?
Which what?
Which fad?
Oh, okay.
A, the disco ball. B, pet rock. C, fondue set. Or D, 8-track tape. Boy, this one's got me stumped. I think.
Oh my gosh. I told you I took a 20-question quiz and got them all right, and I'm not sure I know that one.
Disco ball, pet rock, fondue set, or 8-track tape. 1975.
I will go with disco ball.
Are you sure about that? You sure that's your answer?
I'm as sure as I can be. Yeah.
Wrong. It's a pet rock. I would have gotten that one wrong too.
That was my second guess.
Oh my gosh. He started with the original gray pebbles as actual pets, put them in small crates. I remember that. And they were sold for $4 back then. All right. Got one more chance to get it right here. Let's go back in time a little bit. In 1955. James Dean was killed in a car crash on his way to what event? Oh, gosh. A, movie premiere. B, a car race. C, movie audition. Or D, a wedding. Wow.
What was the first one? Movie.
Okay, A premiere? Was a movie premiere. B was a car race. C was a movie audition. And D was a wedding. I guessed on. I got this one right. But it was a total guess.
I would say C, a movie audition.
Are you sure you want to stick with that answer? Is that your final answer?
I guess.
Yeah. Sure. It was a car race.
Oh.
He was on his way to a road race. That was before my time. That was before I was born.
Yeah, me too. So.
Yeah. That's all right.
Well, I guess I'm not smarter than a fifth grader.
These are always fun. I love these things. I could spend a whole hour just doing nothing but trivia. So let's get into it. All right. Tell us a little bit more about Dudley's Home Care. What's the story behind Dudley's Home Care? I think it's an interesting story.
Well, so our owner, Londa, who is a nurse, she was working in the hospital, and there was no home care companies, and she saw what happened when people discharged from the hospital and they went home and they didn't have the care they needed, and the next thing you know, they're right back in the hospital. So she saw that there was definitely a need for care in the home to help prevent rehospitalizations. And also, you want people to be safe, you want people to be comfortable. And so that's why she decided to leave her work in the hospital, and she started Dudley's Home Care, and that was 33 years ago. I love that it's family owned. It's not a franchise. Mm-hmm. That makes a difference because with a franchise, you essentially buy a territory and you have to stay within that territory. We don't have to do that. We can go wherever we want to go. We try to keep it within a 90-mile radius of Mooresville. That's a big area.
It sure
is.
Yeah.
And we can also care for children. So we're not strictly senior care, although that is the bulk of our clients. We help people in the home, personal care, we do housekeeping, we drive to appointments, run errands for them, and provide companionship, which is really important. I think we saw that during COVID, when people became isolated. We saw just how important having that social engagement is. We also help the family. Usually the adult children are learning about care needs as they go through this with their parents. And I like to think that we provide education for them that is useful not only for helping ensure that their parents get the care they need, but also educating them as to what they need to plan for as far as their future care needs.
I think that education component is so appreciated. People go into it because they have to. There's no choice. Go into it with love and compassion on behalf of a parent, but you don't necessarily know what you're doing. You've never had this experience. So providing that education and direction, what to expect, what to seek professionally, just guidance that is, you can't say enough about it, in my opinion. I have family members who are going through this now. My wife and I have gone through it, and it's always appreciated when you run into the professionals who can provide you that guidance. So a question for you. If you had to kind of list out all the services from top to bottom, what would that include?
Personal care, housekeeping, personal care meaning help with bathing, dressing, toileting. We also are there to prevent falls. So somebody may need standby assist with ambulation just to make sure that they're safe and be there to prevent the fall. We do medication reminders. We have some clients that really require skilled level care, such as we have clients with feeding tubes. We have clients that need catheter care. We have nurses that can do things like go out and set up a pill box if somebody's not cognitively able to do that. Yeah. Our caregivers can do medication reminders, but our licensing does not allow them to set up a pill box. But, sometimes we have families that the adult children, maybe the person lives alone and the adult children are in another state and their parent cannot set up their pill box. And so one of our nurses can go out and set up the pill box. We also can do housekeeping, laundry, meal prep, companionship, and everything's one-on-one. Everything's personalized for that person, which in a facility, you don't get that personalized one-on-one care.
And I imagine you have to interact with a lot of the family members or the caregivers, the family caregivers, if you will.
Yes.
So communication is very important, I would think.
Right. And we really try to offer support, especially if there's a spouse, because we see this all the time. Spouses feel like they have to be the caregiver 24/7. They feel like that's part of, their vows that they took. And what I try to explain to the spouse caregiver is, you have an obligation to make sure your spouse has care, that does not mean you have to be the caregiver 24/7. Because what happens often is it's very stressful, physically, mentally, to be on duty 24/7. And so we often see when people are trying to do that, they will have some kind of health event, and then they're not able to provide that care. So it's real important to get the spouse to understand why it's okay, to have help from outside coming in. It's okay to take a break and take care, have self-care.
They don't realize it, but they need some respite as well.
Right. And sometimes they need instruction as to how to provide care when we're not there.
Mm-hmm. Let me talk to you about the financial side of this. A lot of people are using or relying upon Medicaid for the financial support. And there were a couple of acronyms that struck me when I was kind of researching this in preparation for speaking with you. And one was IHC and the other one was CAP. What are those and what do they mean?
Okay, so the two programs actually that we take are Medicaid PCS, Personal Care Service, and Medicaid CAP. Okay, the Medicaid PCS is a little bit lower on the care scale. We can do personal care, housekeeping, all the normal tasks that we would do for any client, except with personal care services, usually you have fewer hours that are approved, and we can't transport people. So with personal care services, we would not be taking somebody to the doctor. Okay. Now, with the Medicaid CAP program, we can usually they have more hours that are approved to be paid for by Medicaid. We can provide the same care we would provide somebody who is paying privately, and we can provide transportation. We used to get referrals from doctors. We don't do that anymore. The family or the individual has to call the Medicaid LIFTS program and get approved, and then they request care from our company.
Now,
and we're one of few companies that takes Medicaid. It's not as profitable, but we feel good that we can provide care to that part of the population that otherwise would not get care.
Gotcha. That's important. The emphasis is on home care. It's in the name, but you also provide services to the facilities and skilled nursing facilities and long-term care, do you not?
Yes, we do. So we can do staffing. We did a lot of that during COVID when facilities were having a hard time keeping staff. So we would go in and support their staff.
Well, I think that speaks volume about the level of service that you provide. So in a nutshell, I suppose, why would somebody choose Dudley's Home Care for long-term care?
I like to think we always put the client and the family first, and we try to do what's right for them. We do things like we look for ways that we can save them money. We look for ways that we can connect them to other resources beyond what we can provide. So, I feel like we go the extra mile. And so we also try to help our industry friends when they have a service that they provide, and they provide a good service, and it's something our clients would benefit from. We're going to connect them with by giving them those referrals. Also, not being a franchise, we are able to go anywhere. We're able to take care of people, not necessarily seniors. We could also take care of children.
Excellent. Now, we got a couple of minutes left here, but I wanted to ask you if you have a story or a particular situation that really jumps out at you that's very memorable, where your services made a difference.
I have lots of stories, but I'll have to be brief. Yes, there is one in particular. We had a client. She recently passed away. We had her for 24/7 care for 3 years with the same team of caregivers. So great consistency for 3 years. It's very unusual that somebody would have 24/7 from the same agency for 3 years, because as you can imagine, there could be problems along the way. They may want to switch agencies. Yeah. But we took care of this lady for 3 years. She had a favorite caregiver that she loved almost as much as her little dog named Spoonie. And she knew that she was dying, and she wanted the caregiver to promise to take care of Spoonie. So she passed away, and the caregiver took Spoonie, and then Spoonie passed away.
Oh, man.
And our owner paid to have Spoonie cremated. And this spring, we're taking the client's ashes and Spoonie's ashes up to the mountains to Montreat, North Carolina, to a church camp. This client's husband's ashes were spread there. And now we're going to go and take her and Spoonie. And just a real special relationship with her and with her family. And it's just amazing to me that our owner is going to take the ashes and the caregiver. And, that's how much she cares about our clients and their families.
That's a wonderful.
They become like our family.
Wonderful story. I love that. That's amazing. Other service providers, other industry friends, as you describe them, that you like to partner with in particular?
Real estate agents like you, insurance salesmen. We also help people with their long-term care insurance. We review policies and help them to use them the wisest way. What else? Home modification companies, durable medical equipment companies, counseling services. We can actually bring a counselor into the home. Hospice, rehabs, hospitals. If somebody, at some point, if you need 24/7 care, it can get to be financially more expensive than facility care. So there are some clients that at some point may need to move to a facility, and we would help by giving referrals to communities that we know provide good care.
Having that knowledge of what's available, invaluable. If somebody wants to get a hold of you and engage your services, what's the best contact information to provide them?
Well, they can go on our website and fill out contact information, and we monitor that every day. Somebody also has the phone 24/7. So if there was some kind of an emergency in the middle of the night, you can always reach somebody. They can call our office. They can call me. Would you like for me to give the phone numbers?
Well, the website is dudleyshomecare.com, right?
Right.
And what's the main phone number?
The main phone number, oh gosh, why did you ask me? I can't remember.
I prepared. I've got it. And we're going to put it up here. So it's 704-799-3363. Is that?
63. Yes. Okay. Yes.
And
then they can call me directly, and I do answer my phone nights and weekends, and my cell phone number is 603-548-0254. Awesome. And you can ask my husband. I answer it all the time. I'm always available.
Oh my God. And guys, if you didn't have a chance to write that down, it's going to be posted at the end of this video. So thank you very much for that. And that's it. I think we did very good, Connie. I think you gave a very good, informative review of what you guys provide. And I think it's going to be of value to those that are listening as well. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it greatly.
Thank you, Dave. We love what we do.
That's very apparent. Well, thank you, guys. That's the end of our podcast today, and stay tuned for the next one. Thank you for tuning in to the Carolina Senior Talk podcast. We hope you found today's episode both informative and helpful. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode. If you enjoyed today's show, please leave us a review and share it with those who might benefit from our advice. If you or anyone you know is looking to buy, sell, or relocate to the Carolinas, or you simply want to know how much equity you have in your home, be sure to contact me at www.carolinaseniortalk.com. Until next time, we wish you the best on your senior living journey in the Carolinas. Thank you for listening once again, and talk to you soon.